Good morning. I got off the plane this morning at 4:38 a.m. and the first thing I thought of doing was using the restroom, and the second thing I thought of doing was making a video. But I immediately became camera shy. And you know how insanely awkward it is being that guy, the one that is wandering around talking to a camera or sitting there at a table with his chai tea talking to a camera while another camera records that camera, and it's about as awkward as it gets. And right now, even now, I still think that people are looking at me, watching me, and it's that anxiety, that camera shyness, that averseness to public speaking that made me think there's probably other people that are going through this as well. And so I thought, what camera could be perfect for that kind of person, where you know you need to make a video, but you are stuck in a situation where you can't escape people. There's a lot of people around. I'm sitting here at the Portland International Airport, and I'm trying not to talk loudly. So I wanted to get into why the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 is the perfect camera for anxious content creators. And the main reason is because it's small. This thing is tiny. It doesn't draw a lot of attention, even though right now I still feel really awkward because I have it standing in the middle of this table and I'm just talking to myself. But it's perfect for this because it can stand on its own and it doesn't look like a whole lot. If you get the creator combo, which I've talked about before in a previous video, it comes with this amazing little mic. And since it uses 32-bit float, you don't have to talk nearly as loud. And so when you're in a public space and you don't want to draw attention to yourself, just turn your back to the crowds, even if you're facing a wall, just so that you have all those people behind you and you can focus on the camera and think about what you have to say rather than worrying about them. Plus it makes for a much more interesting background. But using this mic, it's, like I said earlier, it picks up 32-bit float. And what that means is that you don't have to speak as loud. You don't have to disturb the piece. You have this wider spectrum of volume where you can whisper and still pick it up and correct it, or you can yell in this thing and still avoid blowing it out. And so it's funny because even now I'm looking around thinking, oh, those people are watching me. So anyway, back to this camera. Small form factor. It's got this great little mic where you don't have to scream into it or blow out the place. And you can get the job done that you want to get done. This is absolutely one of the hardest things for me to do, is to just sit here and talk in public. And if you watch me, you see my eyes are just flitting all over the place because I keep looking at people thinking, oh, they're watching me or they're judging me. But the thing is you look at this little camera and it's tiny. So it's not that scary. And like I said earlier, you just turn your back to the crowds and do your thing. But I did have some people approach me earlier and they were admiring the gear because they saw me vlogging. The thing is, it's a small camera. I mean, look at this right here, and there's not much to it. People aren't gonna notice this right away. I mean, look how inconspicuous this thing is. It's tiny. It's just sitting there next to that little rail, and I can stand here surrounded by TSA employees and travelers just wandering around, and not feel as self-conscious. The only thing is that I don't like talking loud when I'm in places like this, and it's fairly quiet. So, of course, I don't want to project my voice while doing this. It's just not an intimidating camera. Like if somebody walked past here, they'd probably notice me holding the microphone up to my mouth way before they'd notice the little camera sitting right there. It benefits me when it comes to speaking more naturally and more comfortably. And nobody's going to come up to me and be like, oh my god, what are you shooting for? What are you shooting? What are you doing? I can just sit here and make my video and not be bothered by any of these people that are wandering around. Man, that's actually really cool. You know what else you can do with this thing? Is if you set it a little ways away, like it is right now, I can't reach over there unless I lean all the way over. But if you hit the link button on the microphone, it will start the Pocket 3 recording remotely. Ready? And there it goes again, all by just hitting the link button on the mic, the DJI Mic 2, probably the Mini as well. But I don't know why that excites me so much. What a simple thing. Now I can set this thing down in little corners and other funny places. I mean, look at this. This is how much I love this thing. It's so inconspicuous. Is that it's just a tiny camera sitting right there all by itself. And nobody's ever going to notice that thing. They're probably going to notice me talking to the microphone long before they actually see the camera because it's so tiny. At this point, I can stuff this Pocket 3 in little corners and other places and get funny shots like this. And now that I know I can start and stop recording remotely, it's so small but so huge. To go on a little further, this thing has some serious psychological benefits. I kind of wrote them down, but the Pocket doesn't look like a serious camera. You know, it's not a bulky DSLR mirrorless camera with removable, interchangeable lenses. And you just flip the screen out, it turns on immediately, and you start recording. You don't have to decide what lens to put on there or what settings you're going to be using. You basically just go with a nice even exposure and make sure that your framing is good. A lot of people are going to look at this camera and just think it's not much bigger than a phone or a little battery pack and disregard it, which means, again, you're not going to be attracting as much attention as you would if you had a mirrorless with a big lens on a gimbal or some other kind of smaller tripod. Those things stand out. You're going to have people looking at you, and then you're going to start to fall apart because you think they're watching me and I have to perform and I have to get my lines out. And if you're memorizing all this stuff and trying to recite it while thinking about what other people are thinking about, you're just going to totally fall apart. The other thing is that this little camera, being that it's a miniature gimbal, you're going to have steady footage no matter what you do. So it just ends up being one less thing for you to think about while you are moving through a public space. That convenience in how steady your shots are going to be will, again, save you from having to worry about one more thing. If your hands are full, you just clip the mic on, pop the camera on, start creating. You even have Active Track, which will just follow your face around, and you don't even have to look at it. You can focus on where you're going and what you're doing, like drinking and eating breakfast. And I think this is a great little camera for folks that need to build some confidence. You can get really great footage with this thing, and here I am right now looking around, wondering what people are doing and thinking, and See, even I suffer from that anxiety, thinking about what other people are doing, and it totally trips me up. But this little camera is able to take amazing footage, and I forgot where I was going. Oh well. The greatest thing about the Pocket 3 is that in itself, it is a confidence booster. If you're able to go out into public areas and record videos confidently, it's going to create this loop where you are constantly building more confidence. Public speaking is a skill, and not everybody has it innately. You have to build this, you have to practice it. And if you're able to go out into the public with this tiny camera and this really good mic and pop off videos comfortably, then you're going to want to do it more often, and that's going to result in more practice. You'll get better, you'll improve day after day, video after video, and this is just going to get easier overall, so that when you actually do step up to a larger camera, you aren't as scared to perform in front of it or in front of people or around other people. So the Pocket 3 is going to help you not just in an individual video, but in your vlogging or your videography career as a whole. That's kind of major. Even just saying that makes me want to do more of this, because it's making me feel more confident. Now imagine you're on a road. Hi.
You talk to us?
No. So imagine you're on a road trip with your parents, and they... Hi, Rosie. They think you're talking to yourself long before they realize that you were talking to your own little camera. Most of the time, I just want to be out here alone, where there's nobody around for miles. But sometimes I need to be around people just to show that I'm social, and that there's a lot of relevant shots that require people to be in the background, and that means recording yourself in front of them. And when you see a cool shot, it's easy enough to just set this thing down, turn it on, start recording, and get what you need. Hello, friend. Thanks for taking part of this. I'm glad you don't judge me. You want to keep going? All right, let's keep going. And the cool thing is, if you really do want to be alone, and you want to go all the way out here, you have a little robotic cameraman. You can plop it down anywhere, control it with this microphone, and it can be just you and your best friend wandering around at the waterfall.
Bonita, Bonita,